Okay, listen, if you are learning AI or machine learning or even just coding, and you're probably wondering, am I building the right projects or do I need a better laptop for this? If that question is coming back, you are not alone, and honestly it gets confusing fast. You started thinking maybe you are behind, maybe your setup is the problem. So instead of throwing more specs and hype at you, I just want to walk through a few projects that actually matters early on and what hardware you realistically need. The first project is usually where it starts for almost everyone. You have probably seen this happen. Two people watches the same movie on the Netflix, later they open the app, completely different home pages. That's why movie recommendation system is such a good first project, because it quietly teaches you how the whole machine learning actually works. What you are really doing is using the content-based recommendation system. Content-based just means instead of learning from the other user, it learns from the content itself. It compares movie based on the things like the genre, the plot description, the keywords, the actors, and the director. By the way, for this project, you can use the dataset from the TMDB that you can find on the Kaggle easily. When you look at the dataset for the first time, it's messy. There are too many columns and most of them aren't really useful. So the first thing you learn is feature selection. This is basically the process of deciding whether a column really describes a movie or is it just a noise. After that comes the feature engineering. This is where you take the useful information like the genre, the plot, and transform it into something that a model can actually work with. Most of this data is text, and machine don't understand the text the way humans do. So you move into the text pre-processing, which just means cleaning the text, converting into the lower cases, removing the punctuations, and getting rid of any unnecessary term. Then comes the vectorization. Vectorization is just a process of converting the text into the numbers, because the machine learning models only work with the numbers, not with the text. Now using the count vectorizer from the skitline library, you convert those numbers into the vectors. A vector is simply a long list of numbers representing how often a certain word appears. Now every movie lives in a numerical space. Once that happens, you can compare the movies mathematically. And that's where the cosine similarity comes in. Cosine similarity measures how close two vectors are in direction, not in size. In simple terms, it tells you how similar two movies are based on their content. A movie with the highest similarity score becomes the recommendation, and that's the entire engine. Tool-wise, everything stays approachable. Using the Panda and NumPy, you explore the data, handle missing values, and clean the inconsistencies. Then you use the skitlearn to train the regression model. In every project that I am sharing in this video have the same minimum criteria. By the end of this project, you don't just understand the recommendation, you understand the flow. Raw data becomes the features, features become the numbers, and number becomes the decisions. So recommendation system help you suggest what someone might like. But there's one more problem more companies care even more about: people leaving. That's where the customer churn prediction systems actually comes in. Churn basically means when a customer is about to cancel a subscription, uninstall an app, or just goes inactive. And once that happens, it's already too late. So instead of asking who left, the project focuses on a better question: who is about to leave? Technically, this project introduces the supervised learning. Supervised learning is basically training the model using the historical data, where the outcome is already known. Each row in this dataset represents a customer, and each column represents behavior, usage time, payment history, number of logins, complaints, and tenure. There is also a label column. The label column tells you whether a customer churned or not in the past. Because output is a category churn or not churn, this becomes a classification problem. Classification means the model assigns data points to predefined classes instead of predicting the numbers. But the model doesn't just output yes or no, it predicts a probability. For example, a 0.68 chance that a customer might churn. That probability is what company use to decide when to act. From a tool perspective, everything stays familiar. You use pandas and numpy to clean and explore structured data, then you use the skitlearn to train the classification models like the logistic regression or decision tree. There's no deep learning involved here. This is also where many beginners encounter the unbalanced dataset for the first time. Unbalanced dataset means most customers don't churn, usually a fraction of do. That's why accuracy can be misleading. So you learn about the recall and precision. Precision means how many predicted churners actually leave. Recall means how many real churners your system actually predicted. On the hardware side, this project is also very lightweight, so no GPU is required. By the end of this project, you will understand how the machine learning supports the real decision. But there is another important idea left. Up until now, the model has been making decisions, this or that, churn or no churn, but some problem doesn't work like that. Some outputs aren't the category, they are just the numbers. And that's exactly what the house price prediction system actually tells you. On the surface, the task sounds really simple. You give the information of the houses and it predicts the prices. But the real learning here isn't the final number. It's how the model reacts when a small mistake actually matters. This kind of system is used by the real estate performers, banks and loan providers to estimate the property value and assess the financial risk. Technically, this project introduces the regression. Regression means the model predicts a continuous numerical value instead of a class. Using the Panda and NumPy, you explore the data, handle missing values and clean the inconsistencies. Then use the skitlearn to train the regression model. The goal isn't to use the complex algorithms. It's to understand how the different features influence the price. This is where the feature importance start to make sense. Feature importance tells you which input has the biggest impact on the predicted price and which one barely matters. This project is also where many beginners see the overfitting for the first time. Overfitting happens when a model learns the training data too well, including noise, and performs worse on the new data. You start using the error-based metrics like the mean absolute error. Mean absolute error tells you on average how far your predictions are from the true price. By the end of this project, you stop thinking of predictions as the actual number. But so far, all the data has been the clean numbers. But what happens when the data isn't structured? It's written by humans. That's where the spam and fake review detection system comes in. You see systems like this everywhere. Email spam filters, fake reviews on e-commerce websites, comment moderation on social platforms. The goal here isn't the perfection, it's to reduce the noise. Technically, this project introduces the text-based classification. Classification again, but this time the input isn't the numbers, it's the raw text. Each data point is a message or a review, and each point is a label. Spam or not spam, fake or genuine. Before the model can do anything, the text has to be prepared. That's where the text pre-processing comes in, converting into the lower case, removing punctuation, and handling the stopping words. This step matters a lot because the messy text can lead to the unreliable models. Then comes the vectorization again. Use the tools like Counter Vectorizer or TF-IDF from skitlearn to convert text into numbers. TF-IDF doesn't just count words, it also reduces the importance of very common words and increase the importance of more informative ones. And here's the important part, simple models are enough. You don't need to use the deep learning and understand what's really happening under the hood. From a tool's perspective, everything stays familiar. Pandas for loading and cleaning text data, skitlearn for vectorization and classification, and from a hardware perspective, this is one of the lightest projects. This is where you understand the unstructured data. Unstructured data is a data which doesn't follow a fixed schema. It doesn't fit neatly into rows and columns, and you also see how the evaluation changes again. A false positive here might block a real user, and a false negative can let a spam go through. When you look at all the four projects together, something becomes really clear. Machine learning don't always need an expensive hardware. What actually matters is whether you understand what you are building. Each project teaches a different way of thinking, and together they form a real solid foundation, not because they are flashy, but because they are real for a beginner. If you're serious about learning this stuff, your laptop is part of that foundation. So if you are planning to buy a laptop for AI and machine learning as a student or maybe as a professional, I have linked my best AIML laptop buying video in the description along with the best laptop deals. So yeah, that's pretty much of it. If this video helped you think more clearly about what to build and what hardware you actually need, you know what to do. Subscribe. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Stay awesome and I will see you in the next one.